The push press can be seen as a progression or lateralization to the standard overhead or military press. I'll explain why in just a moment, but first I want to clarify that a push press is definitely not a regression to a regular standing overhead press, and therefore you should be able to complete a regular overhead press competently before attempting a push press. A push press shares similar biomechanics to a regular overhead press, only in a more explosive or ballistic and less controlled environment. Therefore, I'd highly suggest watching my video on the standard overhead press and make sure that you are confident with your ability to press weight overhead correctly and confident with the prerequisites necessary and their reasoning before attempting a push press. This will ensure that you will be doing the movement correctly, and if you aren't, you'll be able to detect it yourself instead of engraving terrible patterns into your system. As I stated earlier, the push press can be viewed in two basic categories. It can be seen as a lateralization to an overhead press, which basically means that it is neither a regression nor a progression. Because on the one hand, it's easier on your pressing muscles, but on the other hand, you will either be able to use more weight, which will make it more taxing on your nervous system, or you'll be able to do more reps, which will make it more taxing on your cardiovascular system. On the other hand, it can be seen as a progression to a standard overhead press because it requires more fluid movement, more muscle synergy, and more athleticism. While in a standard overhead press, most of your gains will be coming from an increase in brute force and your muscles' ability to contract harder or longer, in a push press you have additional factor of your efficiency to use momentum and transfer force from your legs through your arms to the bar. This is also the reason why progressions happen more rapidly at the beginning stages of this exercise, because your body can adapt your nervous system to improve movement efficiency much faster than it can add muscle. The setup and unracking of the bar will be identical to that of the standard overhead press. Set the bar in the rack at a height that will require you to get under it versus setting it at the height that is higher than the lowest part of your press. Dip at the knees and thrust up, pressing the bar overhead. The key is to build as much momentum as you can through your legs so that less demand is placed on your pressing muscles. Think of the leg portion of the movement as a vertical jump and take a stance similar to one that you would take for a vertical jump. As with any ballistic movement, taking advantage of the elastic component is vital for optimal power production. In this instance, it means that the faster you dip your knees, the more power you will have coming back up. When doing the push press, make sure to keep your heels on the ground. It's very common for people to mistakenly elevate their heels. Just keep note of this. When I push press, I like to imagine that the bar is my little sister and on the ground is an enormous crocodile. For me, that makes it instinctual to press the bar overhead with as much speed and force as I can possibly produce.